So, what's up, guys? What's up? On my last ride, I took the Rion Curve throttle off just to get a feel of how different it is from the regular throttle that I have on here. And I can tell you for sure that after riding with the Rion Curve throttle for so long now on the Dualtron X2, I am actually putting it right back on the Dualtron X2. And figured I'd just do a quick video, I don't know, to show you how simple it is to actually put my curved throttle right back on the DX2. And all I'm doing now is just loosening the bolts. And there are some bolts on the back of this here that you don't want to lose. As you can see, they're right in there. Okay. And so the only thing I have to do for my hookup is to just take the back off, which is what I'm about to do right now. Next thing I'm going to do is just take the screws out of my Minimotors display. This is a new display. I bought a backup display whenever I modified the original display for the Rion Curve throttle, and I figured that I'd get this in the event that I wasn't able to successfully, or if I damaged the original one, I could at least have a backup one that would work, and it works just fine. I've been riding with it. The noticeable difference between the Rion Curve throttle and the original Minimotors display throttle is simply that area of latency, that area where throttle, where the power begins. With the Rion Curve throttle, you have a very refined area, and as you can see, I'm just disconnecting. All I have to do is disconnect that, slide that out there, just take the original throttle, put the screws back in here. When you own an electric scooter, be prepared to do a little bit of work. Be prepared to roll your sleeves up from time to time and do some basic maintenance on your scooter. I mean, these things are not bulletproof. Electric scooters are not bulletproof. They are not some heavy duty machine that you're going to just be able to ride and never have to worry about them malfunctioning. That is definitely not the case. And so I encourage everybody that is an electric scooter owner to be prepared to do a little bit of maintenance on your scooter, basic maintenance. And if you have to get into the advanced stuff, I advise you to do some research. There are plenty of YouTube videos now that have surfaced where you can pretty much learn how to do some of everything, from changing the brakes to doing a pre-check of all of your bolts and screws before every ride. This is the hookup that I created for my Rion Curve throttle. And all I'm going to do is just take the screws out here. And I'll give you a peek on the inside of my wiring, of my soldering rather. It's kind of a shabby job. It's kind of a shabby job, but you know what? It works for me. And I haven't had any problems out of the Rion Curve throttle. And as I open it up here, you can see I got a lot of extra wire on the inside. But that's just a basic look at how my wiring is on the inside here, just to give you guys a look at what's going on the inside of my Rion Curve throttle hookup. You know, I got the 3-pin connector for the throttle itself, and then I made sure that I had plenty of wire on the inside. What you see here is where the Hall sensor was located at on the Dualtron X2. And all I did was I took what I did is I took and I super glued the wire to the circuit board there, but I also have a zip tie there so that it solidifies the whole weld product. And then this little extra plug here, what I took and did is I used it for my ground wire connector, because dropping a bead of solder right in between the signal wire, the hot wire, and the signal wire. The signal wire is the first wire. The brown wire right here, the ground wire right here. Although it looks red right there, it's actually the black wire that's on it. I don't know if you can see how I got it there, but I used because it was the original wire that was in that connector. Since I wasn't going to use a fingerprint sensor with this, I said, well, let me use the ground wire connection inside of this connector box here, and that's what I did. And then that's basically, that's basically the soldering part of it. And it's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid job. My wires are folded around in there pretty good, because I wanted to have some wiggle room to have plenty of wire. And then basically what I did is, I took and soldered everything up. I even put some electrical tape around the shrink wrap that I put around my welding job, so as to solidify it even further. I mean, it puts a lot of stuff on the inside, but hey, it works just fine. And from there, it's just a simple process of plugging my throttle connector back in like so. Simple as that. So, and then I have to, run the wire inside of this little catch that's on the back of the display here. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Once you connect it, that's pretty simple. Now it's just a matter of putting the screws back in. It's already powered on, I think. Yeah, it is. Let me power it off. I powered it on by mistake, so that lets me know it's working. I just have to turn the backlight back on so that I can see the display clearly. I gotta check my settings as well to make sure that they are in harmony with what's in the book. And my little job with my silicone, it probably needs to be touched up just a little bit. I'll probably take my heat gun and just give it a little. Matter of fact, let me do that right now. I'm gonna create a new seal for my. And you don't want to put too much heat on this, because it will actually melt. All right. And I do believe that is enough. And then with my setup, I can bring my display all the way over, almost to the middle here. I can bring my display all the way over to the middle, and I generally try not to let it sit right on the back of that, because I don't want any vibration on it. And I normally bring it all the way over here and just let it sit there. Pretty much it. And then I'll put my screws back in here, and I pull that all the way back over so that I can make room for my thumb throttle right there. And be sure to put your finger in the, I have to make sure I put my finger in the back there so that I don't push that screw out while I'm screwing it in. And these Minimotors displays, this hard cast plastic that's used on the display to hold it on the handlebar, is pretty flimsy, so you can't tighten it too tight. You have to get it just tight enough where it's snug but not over tightened, so that you don't break it, because they break easily. Okay, so I have it just just so that I can move it a little bit if I need it to, and I'll just turn it on to make sure that it's still working, and it is indeed still working. And see here. Yep, got all my settings back on and where they need to be. Next part is putting the Rion Curve throttle on. This is the Rion Curve throttle. And as you can see, my work is, it's pretty. I got the welds on there real nice. I got the 3-pin connector on here. And the thing about this 3-pin connector is it has a water seal cap on it. That's what I like about this 3-pin connector, so that whenever I plug it in, all I have to do is just basically screw that seal cap on there and my connection is solid. So I'm going to take my breaker loose here so that I can adjust the angle of the Rion Curve throttle once I get it on here. So I got that loose. Now the position that I prefer to put my throttle on at, yeah, I had it right there. And I move my brake caliper over slightly. So that's the perfect position for me, because a lot of people don't realize that you don't put your thumb on the throttle and roll it like that to get the best response from it. You gently roll your thumb over the top of it like that. See that little ridge right there? That makes the whole experience like smooth. And that's a full roll right there. Wow, I got my hands still on and I still got access to my brakes right there. So I just want to make sure that my brake caliper is at an angle where whether I'm standing or sitting, I can still access it freely. So, and now I'm gonna just take and connect the back part of it. And this thing is like, it's made out of some quality stuff, man. I mean, shout out to Rion for making this throttle out of such quality components. I mean, this throttle is more than a game changer. It's like innovative on the next level. Okay, she's on there tight. Okay, that's on there tight. And now I'll just tighten my brake caliper back up. Make sure it's over as far as it can go, which it is. Make sure I don't have any crimping or cramping going on here. And tighten that brake caliper back up. And we are in business. Now, as you can see, I have all of this excess wire here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put one fold in my wire here. First, let me see where my display wire is located at. And I'm going to put my display wire so that it doesn't sit right against the body of my wiring for my brake caliper, so that it doesn't have to experience all of that vibration. I mean, my soldering and everything on the job that I did is pretty legit, but I don't want to test it too much. And it's just a matter of plugging her in right here. Let's make sure we got her lined up, because we don't want to bend those pins. That is a headache that I've been through also. Once you bend those pins and you try to straighten them back out and then they break off, that's hell on earth. And just like that, she's connected. And then what I'm going to do is take my wires. I'm going to put them nice and conveniently in a spot where they're not too cramped or anything. Then I'm going to take my little Velcro strap here and do a ring around the Rosie and get her all nice and strapped in. Okay, I put the Rion Curve throttle back on the DX2 after playing around with the regular Minimotors EY3 Display throttle. And now I'm about to give it a test to make sure that it's still working the way it was when I took it off. So guys, I just got done with my Rion Curve throttle reinstallation after playing around with the Minimotors EY display, and I just wanted to test it out. It was kind of dark out. It was just turning dark, and so as you can see, I got her on the road, and the throttle was working just fine, no problems whatsoever. So the Rion Curve throttle is back in the house, and I had a nice night ride in this video here, and I'll make sure I post that ride in my next video posting. If you're still here, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Peace out.